people's attention spans getting shorter.
So
Maybe.
what did you say? No,
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 22 of the Ed Squared podcast. Today on the show we have Steve Smillie Norman, aka Smillie the Clown.
Well, this is why I use cream beds, because you can throw a bucket of water at me
Yeah.
and it won't run.
No.
I've been swimming in the Azores with my makeup on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what? So, what is that a job where you'd be a clown? You'd be a swimming clown?
No, we did when we did the Azores. In the mornings, what we do, put one-piece bathing costume on, we put our face on, and then we march down to the sea, a line of clowns.
Okay.
And all the residents would sit outside their houses, clapping us, going down like that.
Right.
And then we'd get into the water, get to the shore, take our boots off,
Yeah.
and go swimming.
Wow. If you didn't know that was happening, that would be a bizarre dream.
It
You think
was,
you'd
yeah.
be dreaming? What, like 20 of you?
We'd go,
100 of you?
all the local kids, there'd be like a pontoon in the water, and they'd be jumping off with us and swimming. And there was a kid there, and he spoke fabulous English. And I said, he was only about 11. I said, where do you learn your English? He said, Disney TV.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
I
Like
watch it on there.
American shows where a lot of people learn English. Like
Yeah,
Friends is a big one.
And you got
Sitcoms.
Dora the Explorer teaches Spanish. I speak
Oh.
Spanish, German, French, Portuguese, some Polish, a bit of Chinese, and a sign as well. So
Wow. So you could perform anywhere nearly.
yeah,
You
I
could
could do my magic act in Spanish.
Wow. I imagine the German clown would be a lot more serious.
That's I've done. Yeah, I have done it in Germany, but I've done it in British Army bases.
Ah, okay.
I've entertained the British Army
Yeah.
troop kids.
Wow.
I spent 3 Christmases touring all the British Army bases.
Does the way you have to kind of perform change, say, if you were going to perform to... I suppose that's the thing with kids, is kids, it's kind of universal, especially with the physical comedy as well.
It's when you're in a country that you don't speak their language, you mime. You do mime.
Yeah. I mean, that was Mr. Bean, wasn't it?
He was. That was
the
classic
best
example.
example
Yeah,
of that.
yeah.
All over the world know Mr. Bean. It's crazy. I mean, so to anybody who doesn't know you, who are you, and how long have you been a clown, basically?
I'm Smillie the Clown. I've been Smillie the Clown 38 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
38 years. And has Smillie the Clown changed over the years, like as a person, or do you think as a clown have you matured? Do you think?
I'm more confident as a clown.
Yeah.
But now in my aging years, I can do it without the face paint. I could do the shows without the makeup and still be as funny as Smillie the Clown. But originally, I mean, as a kid, I was very shy.
Right.
I was really shy as a kid.
Oh, okay. When did you first, like, maybe even before you started performing, did you see yourself like entertaining? When did that first start?
If you'd have said to me 40 years ago, I'd be earning my money as a clown, as an entertainer, I'd have said you were off your chump. Because the person I was very shy. But then when I started doing charity work and stuff like that, helping other people, I began to be a bit more confident. And then I started doing the clowning. And it was by accident, really, working for the Pat Phoenix Biobrick Appeal.
Yeah, we were talking about that before when you were that famous picture of you in the news with the twins.
Famous, well, not famous, but, you know,
but it was kind of one of your originating stories.
Yeah.
Could you tell that for us?
I worked for the Pat Phoenix Biobrick Appeal, which was a charity building a cancer care centre, the first one of its type in the UK, which was a cancer care centre where if you had a relative that was dying of cancer, then you could actually stay with them.
Right.
There was rooms for family to stay. And it was the first one of his time. They're all over the place now, but it was the first. It's called the Neil Cliff Cancer Care Centre in Wythenshawe Hospital in Manchester.
That's beautiful, because I think a lot of the problem is you're only allowed to go visit at certain times in regular hospitals, aren't you?
So that's what the ethos of it was, that people could actually be with their families. I've lost 3 sisters and a brother to cancer. So I was doing this charity work because at the time I'd lost 2 sisters. So I thought, well, I'll help raise a bit of money for, I can't help my sisters, but I can hopefully help other people.
Yeah.
And I've had friends come to me and chatting with them and they say, oh, my dad was in there. And that's really nice.
And how did this start with you becoming an entertainer? How did that story?
I did this, and a friend of mine who was an agent, Janice, she heard there was a job going for a clown at a partner's store for a guy called Nutty Norman, no relative, but it was Nutty Norman, Keith Norman from Colchester.
Okay.
So it was quite a distance away. And he put a thing out wanting clowns for opening partner stores, and I started doing that. Then as my confidence grew doing this work, he asked me to do the openings. I'd do a little magic show, get the crowd round and perform for them, and then do the countdown, then open the store. And that's basically how it started. And he introduced me to another friend who wanted clowns to do Clark shoe shops and mother care and stuff like that. And that's how it started, and it just went on from there.
But like being a magician is very different, well, anyway, from an outsider's perspective, to a clown. I mean, you're an entertainer, but dressing up as a magician, say, compared to how you are now, is very different. Was that hard at all, or did you just see it all as entertainment?
I did magic when I was a kid.
Right.
When I was 6-year-old, David Nixon, Google him, fabulous magician. And I liked what he did, and he was funny with it.
Right.
And that's when I started to come out of my shell, because I was really, really shy.
Yeah.
And then I did me magic shows. I learned to juggle. I thought I'd do bits and bobs, and it wasn't until 25 years ago I stopped working for a living and started doing this.
Wow. Well, it is a living for you now, though.
Yeah, it's a living for me now.
But at first, was there that kind of thing where the people around you maybe looking the other way, like, oh, is this going to work for him? It's not exactly a traditional career, is it?
Well, I wanted to be an actor.
Right.
I've always wanted to be an actor. And when I left school, I started being a chef. It was a trade. And I thought, well, actors are employed 10%. 10% of actors are employed. The other 90 aren't employed. And they do like restaurants and bar work and stuff like that. So I thought, well, I wanted to do something full time. So I become a chef, hotel manager.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Manchester, and I did the Dubai Brick Appeal, and then started doing this. I was still working.
Yeah.
Up until 1999. And I did my first clown festival.
Damn. So when I was 3, you were...
All right, rub it in.
First...
Rub it in.
No.
I tell people, because I get kids say to me, how old are you? And I said, I'm 12 and a half. And they go, no, you're not. I said, I was 12 and a half on my last birthday. And you can't answer that, because you get kids always want to be one up. They try and take the mickey out of the clown, one up. They used to say to me, you're not a real clown. And I thought, well, I can't go, yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, you can't do that with kids because it can get aggressive, right? Especially nowadays. Really? And I used to say, oh, I'm a cardboard cutout. And that makes the kids think, oh, well, and by the time they've thought of a reply to it, you've moved on.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But I say that, or I say, shh, don't tell anybody, I'll get the sack.
Yeah.
But so there's both of those things replies that I say to people.
Lovely. Yeah, you've got kids. Well, I was only one recently, as you'd probably say.
Yes. Yeah.
But they ask questions, but they'll be ready for another one. You're like kind of their answer. When there's a party, I imagine there's a lot of parents that go, phew, the clown's here. Leave him with the clown.
Exactly.
We've got it. And you're that guy.
I'm the guy the parents are sat at the back, wetting themselves laughing, and because I use a lot of double entendres.
Yeah. You're kind of that person who everyone relies on. I mean, you're a better version of a babysitter. I imagine when I have a kid.
Hold on a second. I'm not a babysitter.
No, I didn't mean...
Completely, 100%. I did a wedding at the Midland Hotel in Manchester, and they took me to this room, and then all the adults walked out. And I went, hold on. And I said, come back. I'm not a babysitter. I'm here
Yeah.
to entertain. If a child throws up, if a child
Yeah.
punches another child, I'm not going to
No.
do it. So I say, no, I cannot be. I always say, I cannot be a public liability insurance won't allow me to be in a room with just children. Not because there's something dodgy about me, because I've got an enhanced DBS,
Oh, right. Yeah.
which is the norm.
Yeah,
you have to have.
Yeah, of course.
But even TV shows that you have to have it, you know. But I don't. I won't just be in the room with children because, like I say, I entertain them.
Yeah.
You know? And you do get. I had a kid once being a pain in the bum.
Yeah.
And he was chirping in all the time. So I went, "Oi, stand up!" And he went, "Yeah." And I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Nathan." I said, "Is that one F or two?" And he looked at me blankly and he said, "There's no F in Nathan." I said, "I bet your dad was wishing that." And of course, he didn't get it.
Yeah.
The kids didn't get it.
Yeah.
The kids are laughing at him.
Yeah.
Smiley's taken control.
Yeah.
Dad's at the back went himself laughing.
Yeah.
So that's how it works, you know.
Like you get tested. It's like the substitute teacher comes in.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's that one kid who's like, I'm gonna push
See
that
how
button.
far you can
But as
push
soon
it.
as you prove, you've got past that first hurdle, you probably have everyone's respect.
You get some entertainers that come in and say, "Right, shut up, be quiet, I'm performing." I don't do that.
Yeah.
I say, "Have you all been good?" "Yeah." "Put your hand up if you've been good." "Yeah." "Put your hand up if you're not been good." "Yeah." "Put your hand up if you're not here." and I say, "Who wants to help me?" Go, "Yeah." So I let them shout it.
Yeah.
But I will only get the kids up to sat up nice and smart, with arms folded across the chest, and as if we do the other day, and that controls them.
Yeah.
So if they want to get up and help me and get sweets and lollies and chocolates and Haribo, they've got to be quiet.
Right.
So I use psychology.
Yeah, you've got to really trick them.
But I do get people, little kids that want to chat, and I don't ignore them. I get them up. I actually get them up and take over them.
Yeah. Well, you have to, don't you, really?
Yeah.
What they're eating at parties as well, like they're just on sweets, chocolate. You're probably getting the most insane version of the kids all at once. But in a way, you are the most exaggerated version of an entertainer. As a clown, you're silly, aren't you? So you kind of match that energy. You kind of got to match that as a child.
I always say, don't laugh at me. I'm not coming to be laughed at.
Yeah.
And it's you've got to be.
Well, that was what I was going to ask, is because I'm very interested in stand-up comedy, things like that. Have you ever had, what's your worst, heckle? I don't know what your version of a heckle would be, but it would probably be what you're talking about with these kids.
In all the years, there's only ever been a couple of times when I've had something and it's gone slightly out of control. And then all I do is I say, "Right, is this your child? Can you just keep an eye on this child?" Because they're disturbing for everybody else. Yeah. And there's only been twice that I can remember, because I just with my experience, it doesn't matter what they say to me. Any heckling, anything like that, I've got an answer to. Yeah. How old are you? You know, are you not a real clown? And it's all.
It's a game.
It's a game.
It's a game, and you've got to play that. I mean, and also you talking about earlier about how long you're dressing up like this. Is it ever a pain to be dressed as a clown? Say you are in a hot room. Is it ever a pain to do that, or do you just most love it?
When I do my show, I'm there for an hour, and it doesn't matter what the venue's like, hot, cold. I always come off stage soaking wet. Because for that hour, I can't just stand there. Yeah, I am performing. Everything that comes out my mouth, everything that I do, is physical. And with that, I just sweat. Yeah, I'm not a profuse sweater, but I do sweat quite a lot with doing that. And that's why I have cream-based makeup and I powder it in so that my face isn't running down, when you see a clown with dripping makeup down, they're probably a bit of a rookie, You've seen a couple there's
of those
clowns, and then there's clowns.
There's clowns. Yeah, there is. And I suppose we've got one of the good ones on today, Smillie.
Is he coming in?
Classic. I mean, so you were talking a bit earlier about your inspiration as a musician, not a musician, magician. Sorry, sorry. You know, having a clown in the room is really bizarre. I do think I'm dreaming right now. Do you know what I mean? Like something.
As long
feels...
as it's not a nightmare.
We could turn into one.
Hey, steady.
So yeah. You talked about your inspiration as a magician. What about as a clown or just an entertainer? Is there any other people you grew up with?
There isn't one particular clown that I've seen and I've thought I want to do that. Clowning came as a byproduct of entertaining,
right?
Basically, but Smillie the Clown has given me a fabulous life.
Yeah,
you know, I always speak as Smillie the Clown in the second, third person because it's not me.
Yeah,
I'm Smillie Steve. I'm the entertainer.
Yeah,
but Smillie the Clown, people want a clown. I get people who say, "Oh, they're frightened of the clown," and people are pushing the kids behind them like that.
Yeah,
and then within 2 minutes, I've got the child in my hand.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just what I do. I don't believe there's any child when you get adults running away. I just look at them and go, get a grip.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't see that as negative. For me, but for them.
Yeah.
You know, they're spoiling everything for themselves. They could have a great time, be entertained by me, whether I'm doing magic, blue modeling, juggling, whatever. They'll have a great time from me because I guarantee it.
I think your profession and what you're doing is a great example of someone not taking themselves too seriously. And I feel like a lot of people could take that into their stride in life.
I take my job seriously, but don't take myself seriously.
But like your act, right? The idea of being silly, sometimes taking the mick out yourself.
Who else has a job where they earn hundreds of pounds an hour?
Yeah.
Being stupid.
I'm looking at one.
Know?
I'm looking at you, Smillie. I'm looking at you. So yeah, that's amazing. You would you say this is like the best job you've ever had? Like, because it's unique. Like, it's not just entertaining. You're entertaining kids, and this is what we were talking about off air. Was you had a run-in with a certain someone, and he even praised you for that. Entertaining children is one of the hardest jobs in the world.
Yeah, Stephen Mulhern.
Yeah,
we were met on the set of Coronation Street when we were doing the live in 2015, and I was just me, Steve, the extra, the supporting artist, and we just got into conversation. And he said to me, "What do you do?" I says, "Well, I'm a children's entertainer." "Oh, that's the hardest job there, because I do magic." And he said, "Do you do this? Do you know this magic trick where you do this?" And I went, confusing credit, and we stood there. It was so surreal. I'm talking to Stephen Mulhern.
Yeah,
one of the best paid entertainers in the country. I remember the conversation about magic.
Yeah, incredible.
It was just so surreal.
And do you think it was something you wish you got into earlier, or do you think it was like the right time, right place? Because I think with a lot of people, you know, you see kids actors now dreaming to be a performer from early age, but I think a lot of the time, acts and things like that kind of come about naturally. So like this kind of came to you at the right time. Do you think you could have got into it earlier as a clown?
Well,
like you don't see many people my age.
Like I said, I was shy.
Yeah.
You do see people your age.
Really?
I mean, I've always tried to push people into. If I see somebody who's a singer, who's a good singer, I'll give them the advice and the help to go forward and make their dream come true.
Yeah.
I worked with a guy called Gareth.
Okay.
He was 6-year-old. I did songs of praise with him with Clowns International a long time ago. And he's now Bippo the Clown. Wow. And I went to see him last week on Boxing Day in Liverpool with Katie Price.
Wow.
And she was the name, he was the star. And it was just amazing. And he always, every time I go, he'll say, "That's my friend there, Steve, Smillie the Clown." If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be up here now.
You're just dressed there without clothes. You're just not dressed all the time.
I dress up as an elf.
Okay,
I had my elf's hat on.
I imagine you like not dressed up, and he's like, "Oh, there's a clown there," and you're just like, "No."
It gets me to stand up, turn around, and take a bow, and everybody gives me applause.
That's so nice.
It's really nice. But yeah, I like to see people up the game and become that. I will try and help people along that road to whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
You know,
no, that's really nice.
I like that.
Yeah, I think there is that need to pass it on. Like, you've had such an amazing time with what you do. You just want to share that with other people.
Well,
you want to give that to
38 years I've been doing this job. And 12 and a half. You know, I'm only 12 and a half. But I was never
how does that work then?
Never good with maths, you see.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I've never been that good with maths either, so I didn't even question that, to be honest. You've got any, so, you know, clown, funny guy, silly guy, is there any misconceptions that maybe, okay, you've talked a lot about kids, but any parents just totally have no idea what you do, or just, yeah, can you dispel any of those misconceptions?
But I don't, well, basically the thing that I don't like is when you've got a parent at a venue and I might not have, say I'm not got a microphone.
Yeah.
And I'm at somebody's house. I wouldn't use a microphone in somebody's house.
Yeah.
And you got them all talking, they're talking over me. And I'm thinking, well, you know, rude.
Yeah. Rude.
So that is the only negative thing I get sometimes. But that's why I always say, you know, I always get the adults up there talking.
Yeah.
You know, it works 90% of the time, but you do get people talking, and what I then do is I lower my voice.
It's that whispering,
and I'll start to say to the kids, "Come here, I'll tell you," and then because I say, "Excuse me, can't hear this child," and that's how we do it. You see, it works quite a lot of the time.
That would be really annoying, though. You know, you're entertaining kids and them not accommodating for you. I suppose it's kind of a lot of working on the fly as a clown, though, right? Probably loads of things happen that you don't know would happen. Like,
well, no, I do a number of tricks in my show, and
I mean, I should also say that, you know, you do other acts. I mean, you could list some of your other kind of characters.
I do some of the tricks in my show, but that show's never, ever the same.
Right.
Not one show's going to be the same. The rapport you have with the kids. I'll do 4 tricks in an hour. A trick that'll last like 3 minutes. Yeah. Because of the banter and everything. Yeah. And the rapport with the children and with the audience, it lasts so much longer. Yeah. You know. But I do other stuff like Smillie Steve. I do an elf, a pirate, a wizard, a cowboy, Indian. You name it. My agent, Julie from JH Promotions, she'd ring me up and she said, "Steve, we need somebody with a one-piece bathing costume. Can you do that? Because it doesn't matter what the person is that I'm performing as. My show's the same. I might change the little things. I might change some of the tricks to the theme of that person. But the show is basically the same. Yeah. And I make on my own costume, so I'll make a costume for it. Yeah. And
can we get a pan down on the shoes, Kate, with the camera? We'll show these off. I mean, he walked into the house today with these on. I mean, they've even got the Nike swoosh.
These are my Nike ones
as well. Wow,
my other ones are Converse. Obviously. Is
that what the clowns like Converse and Nike? Then is that what we're learning?
Well, a lot of people. I used to wear boots that I'd used shoe paint on.
Okay,
you know that's what I used to do,
like DIY.
But I've gone from doing 1 or 2 gigs a month to 1 or 2 gigs a week.
That's incredible.
I remember one Christmas I did 19 gigs in 1 week. Wow! And it might have been an hour here and 2 hours there and 3 hours there and whatever. But I did that in the spate of a week, 19 gigs.
I mean, those days when you're doing like 3 gigs a day, how do you stay that happy, cheery, like sort of the elf kind of guy?
I don't know. It's just me.
Magic.
I'm like that whether I'm a clown, whether I'm an entertainer. And people go, "Oh, Steve, you're not a clown at the moment." And I go, "Well, so what?" Yeah. And I'll come out with my double entendres and my one-liners and stuff like that. Yeah. And they go, "Steve, you're not on show now. You're not performing." But it's just me. I'm just a
those people
from a shy child to I mean, I do get annoyed with things. I do get unhappy with things. You know.
Well, I was going to say, like, say if you had a hard day or something outside of your work was affecting you, I would find it hard to be that life, to be that joy.
Yeah.
But that,
There was once I on the Thursday, my sister died, and on the Saturday, I was performing in the child's toy area of Harrods in London.
Right.
And I got there and I couldn't park, and all these things were building up, and I thought, I'm not doing this. I'm going home now, and I just got on with it. I was at the point of going home. Yeah. But I didn't want to let my agent down. But yeah, I've done that. I've had my sister died. I think that was the worst one. 2 days later, I'm having to be Smillie the Clown.
Yeah. And no one in that room would have known that happened. And they would probably think you're the happiest man on the earth. I mean, that is incredibly... I mean, I am well proud. Well, I mean, that is incredible. I mean, you talk to a lot of performers, and it seems like the case with you. You're cracking jokes while you're not in a gig, right? But that's because, in a way... Smillie is a version of you, or is a part of you.
That's why I always speak of Smillie the Clown. It's the third person. Is it third or second person?
I suppose third.
I always speak like that because it's not me, Steve Norman, who's earned the wage. It's Smillie the Clown, or Smillie Steve, and I try not to mix them both up.
Yeah. No, I think another question, going back to, the children you entertain, you said you've been doing this for 38 years. Has it been different the way you get them to laugh? So looking back at when you started, maybe the boomer generation versus like the Gen Z we have now, the way you entertain.
I don't think it's I've evolved.
Okay.
Things I say. I do toilet humor.
Okay.
When I'm doing my Cooking with Magic, I have a little eye drop bottle with some magic fairy water in.
Wow.
And I get the dad to taste it, and I taste it, and I taste it, and I go, ugh, and I get the dad to taste it, and it's all it is sugar and water.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And I say, I get this from the fairies in my garden, and I chase them around. I get them all to wee into the top of the bottle, and then the kids realise that Dad has just had fairy wee.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
And I do. The kids love the
a serious dad.
Like I've just hurt this finger. That's my finger. That's my special finger. That's the one I pick my nose with.
Yeah, that would get the kids going.
They love it all. You
Amazing.
see. Yeah. But I've done performing with mentally and physically disabled children and adults. I used to be a trustee of a disabled children's charity.
Right.
And they're a bit harder to work with, but a lot easier to work with. I know that sounds contradictory, but they're harder because you've got to treat them the same as the other children.
Right.
You don't go, what does he like?
Yeah.
What's his name? You can't do that.
There's a lot of things you've got to pick up without asking,
People will say, oh, he's autistic. And I go, well, I know that. I already see that.
Yeah.
That's why I sign.
Yeah.
Some autistic children sign. So I'll start chatting to them. And sign them. And the parents will go, what?
Amazing. Yeah.
He signed. Or I'll say, Mum, where are you from? And she'll say, oh, Poland. So, dzień dobry, ja się masz dzień dobry. And she'll go, and it works. That part of my entertaining works a lot better when I'm wearing the big red suit at Christmas.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that
because Santa travels the world.
Yeah,
and he speaks different languages.
Yeah,
and I do all the signing and the language speaking because they then believe I'm real.
Next time I go visit Santa, I go see Santa, I will ask him if he can speak all those languages to check if he is good as Smillie. I think you kind of having that's amazing. You probably put a lot of people like in awe. Like, I didn't know this clown spoke 5 languages.
I've had people crying. I've had parents crying and writing in saying Santa was absolutely wonderful because my child has never been able to associate with anybody, costume characters or Santa or anything. And he started signing to my child, and that made me feel my child very special, and that's made me feel so happy, and they've cried.
Yeah, you could connect with virtually anyone. Well, not just with the physical comedy, but the sign language and the different languages.
Wow. Yeah,
incredible. Well, this might relate more to teenagers, which is slightly an older demographic that I assume you're not really with. But you've got this whole era of social media. People's attention spans getting shorter, and that's why I wanted to ask.
So, what did you say? No,
yeah. So my question would be is like, do you see that within the younger kids? Like, it's harder to get their attention? Or because an example of how that is in comedy now, you see the laughs per minute has gone up. So if you watch a lot of old stand-up comedy, it's a bit slower in its delivery. And people have a lot more patience. But with performers now, I feel like you got to be a bit quicker.
They also laugh a lot long between the jokes.
Yeah.
And whether that's the audience or canned laughter, it just makes, like I was saying about, I do 4 magic tricks in an hour.
Yeah. That shocked me, to be honest. I thought it'd be way more than that in an hour.
No, 4 magic tricks, 5 maximum.
Right. Yeah. No, that does seem like if you heard that in any other act, it'd be a lot more frequent. But I suppose it would be a lot harder to, as a clown, make teenagers, laugh. And why do you think we lose that? Why do you think a clown becomes less entertaining?
It's not the clown becomes less entertaining. It's the child becomes older before the time. And that's it. When I do Santa, I do home visits, and you've got the 10-year-old sat there going,
really, at 10 already?
And they look at you like that, and they're looking, and I have a real beard stuck on, and they're looking at me like that, and they're saying, is he real?
Yeah.
And it makes them think, and then I'll say, oh yes, by the way, can you tidy your bedroom, please? And they go, how does he know that?
Yeah.
And you two still fighting, aren't you? How does he know that? And that's when it's just your job to do this sort of stuff,
A bad Santa could cause an argument with the family.
Oh yeah.
You go visit a bad Santa, the kid all of a sudden, wait, Santa Claus? Well, I thought he was real. That Santa Claus could have done a better job.
I've got to admit, last year I did Santa in Meadowhall.
Okay.
And there was a woman,
Sheffield.
there was a group of people, and there was a woman who was being a naughty woman. She started getting verbally abusive, and I just said, I'm really sorry, but I'm not here for you, I'm here for the children. If you can't respect that, can I ask you to leave, please?
Yeah.
And she left.
Oh, lovely.
Got a complaint about it, but at the end of the day, it was her that was kicking off, not me.
No, 100%. So, I mean, that would be good. Do you think there would be a way that you could change your act to appeal to those, 10 to 13, or...
I don't need to.
You don't know, but you have your audience.
When I've got, like I said, with the 11-year-old who was giving me this, I give him a bit of jib.
Yeah.
And some entertainers will avoid the older children. I go straight for the jugular, me. Go for the biggest one.
Yeah, go for it.
And when I'm, you're right, lads. Let's have a selfie. Let's have a selfie. And then their shield comes down.
Yeah.
They're not going, let's take the mickey out the clown.
Yeah. No.
And I do get the other one that gets abused.
Because nowadays, it's those people who don't say anything, but they'll take a picture of you.
Yeah.
You might have that as a clown. Don't you find that really weird? That say, they don't come up to you and say hi. They'll just sit there with the camera. They know you.
With balloons.
Really?
Because if I do balloon modelling, I used to do mix and mingle around shopping centres and stuff and do balloon modelling, and you'd always get the older kids. I'd go, I'm really sorry. I said, I can only do the small children, and they'll get a bit abused. I say, what do you want a piece of rubber for?
That's incredible.
Really?
That's incredible.
Have a balloon. Blow it up yourself. And they can't.
Damn, that would break my heart. Like, I don't think I was ever that naughty of a kid, but say if I did, there was that one boy in the group who was messing with you, and then you said that, he would feel embarrassed.
Yeah,
that's quite funny.
And that's what you do. You just go for the jugular.
Yeah. So that's an example of a heckle you have. You face it head on. And what would you say about another interesting thing is how you balance physical comedy with like verbal, like how you are communicating with people. Would you say, I would assume as a clown, physical is more important. Like, what would you say?
Well, it can be, because like you're getting a reaction from a child if you pull it out at them.
They're laughing for 10
and
seconds.
that will that'll just get rid of any aggression, or so just put you all right. Never mind. Whatever. That sort of thing. It'll just get rid of any heckling, and it can be non-verbal or just physical, or you can just say something like, like what's your name? Nathan. How many F's in Nathan? And
it's just cracking up.
And that's basically it. There's no right or wrong answer to that.
Have you ever met any clowns who are really like unique in the way they do it, like a really like niche clown? Or because you probably met many clowns in your time, any that stand out to you?
Working with Clowns International, which is a voluntary organisation, and we got to do clown festivals around the world, and I've worked with some American, Dutch, clowns from all over the world, and there's a guy in America called Toto, Ron Toto Johnson. Amazing guy. At the moment, he works as a teacher. In schools, teaching kids. I'm not really sure what he does, but he works with dogs and stuff like that. Yeah. So he works with children that need the extra help. And I've got friends who are clowns in the UK. There's my mate, Bubbles the clown. We do a double act.
Lovely. Bubbles and Smillie?
Smillie and Bubbles. Sorry, excuse me. And he's funny, but he's not that funny. And but I do shows with him, and we did this physical and mental handicapped group. We do it quite a lot, and we were doing cha-cha slide.
Oh yeah.
And then you go down. It says go down, and we go back up and up and up, and then I looked like that, and I went, where is he? Look down, and he's on the floor with his arms behind his back like that, behind his head. And I think, what are you doing there? And it makes me laugh. He just does stuff. I do stuff for him, but he just does stuff to me. But yeah, there's Matty the clown.
Okay.
Bippo, my buddy.
Okay.
One of the funniest guys. A very talented juggling. Okay. Does all that sort of stuff. And Ginger Nut. Matching Ginger in London.
Ginger guy or not?
Ginger guy. Yeah. There's a lot of us about.
Yeah. Do you think, what would it take for me to become a clown? Do you think there's a certain type of people who become clowns? Of course, like performers, funny people, what do you call charismatic people. But is there like a theme? Like, you meet clowns, and are you all pretty similar people?
No. You've got some that take it. I mean, I take my job really seriously, but some take it far too seriously. Really? And you think, oh. Then you get the clowns that put a bright clothes that they've got from a charity shop on and think they're a clown. Bit of water-based makeup and stuff, and they think, oh, I'm funny. But you've got to be 38 years. Yeah. Some of these guys something right. Yeah, some of these guys probably looking at you as their kind of, in Kung Fu Panda, where you have your master, your sensei. Do you think your anybody's kind of sensei clown? I think so. Yeah, I mean, I do like this cooking with magic trick where I produce Jaffa cakes. Okay. And somebody said to me once, I was working this park. And I was doing a magic show. There was a DJ there. I plugged into his system. And after doing a magic show, the DJ said to me, you picked that magic trick off Beep. And I said, but I was bleeping it out there. I wasn't saying his name. Yeah. So he said, you pick it off Beep. And I went, no, he got it off me. But how do you prove that? I don't want to prove it. At the end of the day, like I said before, you could do a number of magic tricks, and you could do them thousands of times, but the show's never the same. Yeah, because it's a different performance. And you can copy my show, and It can't be the same.
And absolutely butcher it as well.
And you can butcher it, or you can do good at it. Some people do better.
Who knows?
I'm not the best clown.
Mm.
You know, there's a lot more better clowns than me.
Yeah.
But I've had clowns that I look at and I think, you're amazing, you're very, very good. And then find out that they are not earning a living.
Right. Oh, that must be really sad.
And that I mean, I do DJing, I do TV work, I do magic shows, I do juggling, unicycle, I do circus skills workshops, I do stage work, I do all that. I don't just do one thing where they just do clowning.
Yeah.
And they've honed that clown into a fine art. And I look at them and say, yeah, you're amazing. But I'm earning a living. You've got it. That upsets me sometimes.
Yeah, that must be really sad to see, especially while they're doing making so many other people happy.
Yeah.
That in a way that might be affecting their lives outside of it. While we're talking about other clowns, I thought, Katie, if we could pull up a couple images of some well-known clowns, and we'll see what Smillie thinks of them. I mean, like, let's imagine that you're in a room with this clown, and let's imagine these clowns that you see them at a pub. Would you have a drink with them? It's kind of that question.
When they're out of costume, yeah.
No, I'm saying this clown, the people you see, like, just, I wonder if Smillie respects them.
One rule in clowning is if several clowns are in one room and one's performing, everybody else doesn't.
Really? But you said you did a double act once.
Yeah, well, when you're working together.
When you're working together.
But if, like, we're doing a festival, and there's several clowns there, he'll be working over there, she'll be working over there, they'll be working, and you will never go up to them and start making the kids laugh while they're performing. It's just not the done thing.
Yeah, no, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
You're not trying to compete with them.
Yeah.
You're only there in numbers because there's more kids and adults.
Yeah. These clowns we're going to show you now are iconic ones, only a few, that are probably worldwide known. And we'll see. I texted them to you. Yeah. We'll have a look at those two.
I don't think this is an actual clown. I think this is.
This is an actual.
That is from Krusty the Clown from
Simpsons. What do you think?
I do get. Is it Krusty? Not Krusty.
Krusty the Clown.
You see, kids go, "Oh look, it's Krusty the Clown." No, that's me. I'm Smillie.
That would be.
Can you tell the difference?
That's kind of discrimination against clowns, isn't it?
I'm Smillie the Clown, and I am a professional clown.
Yeah.
And because I'm a professional clown, and because I do a good job, I have to have that respect
for other clowns.
Of me.
Oh, okay.
Respect. The people have to give me the correct name.
And not just referring you to as another clown. Like,
no. I am Smillie.
Yeah.
I'm Smillie the Clown.
But that's a very well-known thing, isn't it? People getting people confused, or they'll
so when they're Krusty, then I think, well, I mean, all right, Krusty. I don't watch the show, and it's not because I'm frightened of the competition.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody else's competition.
No.
They do their job, I do mine. I make a living, they make a living. And they can copy my tricks. I don't care.
That's a very good attitude to have.
You get some people who say, oh, you've nicked my trick. Yeah. And the thing is, if you do a magic trick and they do a magic trick, you're never going to do the same, like I said before. So you can't get jealous of somebody else doing a trick. Because it's never going to be the same.
I mean, maybe you could take some inspiration from Krusty. He got his own burger brand. He I don't know if you know in the show, but he branched out. But obviously that's a fictional character.
Yeah.
But that, I suppose it's, in a way, people comparing you. That's not nice. But at least, Krusty the Clown, well-known clown. It's not like someone's calling you. I'm sure there's worse clowns to be compared to,
Eddie, he's not real.
Does that mean you're...
He's a cartoon. Of course I am.
Okay,
Pinch me.
In fact, you are real. Damn. Yeah, but you know what it is?
That's why when kids mention that, or the horror clowns, it's just over my head because they're not real.
Yeah. But when people see you perform or on stage, some people have that weird thing, when they get starstruck. They go, wait, you're real? Like they see people on stage, but they have this kind of
I
weird
am
mindset
real to the child.
to the child.
I am real to the child. To get kids coming, I love you, Smiley. And then a couple of months later, I guess the parents ring up saying, "Oh, we saw you at Johnny's birthday party, and my son wants to have you for his birthday party." And that's I'm Smillie the Clown, and I give them that name to remember.
Lovely. Yeah, that is special. I mean, so what do you think of if you think back to 2016, this whole like clowns on the street? I don't know if you remember it, but there was this phase in the UK, mainly in America as well. It was around Christmas time. A lot of people started dressing up as clowns and just like running around the street and causing menace. Do you remember this?
I do remember, and yeah, it was frightening. And I think I put something on Facebook because people used to tag me in this, and I go, just hold on a sec. That is not a clown. That's some idiot frightening people. It didn't affect me per se. I think inquiries went down.
Really?
10%.
Okay. Yeah.
And I had 2 phone calls, answer machine at home from kids going, nah, 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 all that sort of stuff, you know?
Really?
But that was it, really. I only ever had 2 messages from it.
Yeah. I just think back to that time, and I imagine you maybe finishing work, also, you know, walking somewhere in your clown costume, people running away because they think you're one of those.
I don't know, because
you don't walk around.
When I do kids' parties in a pub or in a house, I arrive as me.
Right. Yeah.
Steve.
I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. And I might, if I've got 2 gigs one after the other, I might drive.
Yeah.
I take these monsters off.
Yeah.
But I have driven from one venue to another and been in full costume. Yeah. And I've been stopped at lights, and people the next car have gone, "Yo, mate, beep, beep," that sort of thing. And you go, yeah, okay. I've done it as Santa when I've done home visits.
Oh, lovely.
People have got, one guy the other day said, Christmas Eve, I just pulled out to this road onto the lights, and he was walking up and he saw me, and he went, "Can I take a photo for my son?" And I put my hat back on, so I had my beard and everything on, and then just went, "You all right?" And took a photo. And it's just, you have to keep in costume, in character.
That is great. Yeah, it would be a lot easier. I can't imagine you
but
just
never,
walking down the street.
That type of negative horror clowns did not affect me, really.
No, that's good. That is good. Do you know any of the psychology behind why people are scared of clowns? You know, a lot of people have an irrational fear
It's
of
hereditary.
Clowns. Really?
When I do a clown, if I walk into a room, I've got to make sure I don't go into a room going, "No!" You frighten people.
Well, I will say about you is, I think a lot of people, Kate, you were talking about people in costume. So we were at an ice hockey game in Coventry yesterday, and there was this crocodile. He was their mascot, Coventry Street. And I think for a lot of people it is, oh, there's a real person behind that. And but with you, I think it's nice because there is still some identity of a human there.
Yeah.
And with the clown, but you know, you see we got another picture of like Pennywise or something like that. Yeah. You know, their whole face is covered in white. I mean, even parts of their face is augmented in a way. And I think that's where it kind of gets a bit spooky for some people, because they're like, who is actually behind there? And I think what we can connect with you is there's a human.
I'm not my face, and that's my hair.
Yeah.
and my face is different only because of the makeup.
Yeah.
But I'm in character. Kids relate to me as Smillie the Clown, and they want me to do their birthday parties, and but people realise that so when you got a kid come up and starts kicking me, which I get now and again.
I mean, you'd be fine kicking them back with
kick
them.
the buggers back,
you kick them with that, jeez.
Yeah. But I just say, don't do that. And sometimes the reality between an adult and a clown, they sometimes get confused. Yeah. And I just have to remind them, I'm not here to be kicked.
Yeah.
I'm not here to be laughed at.
I mean, even babysitters aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I did some babysitting when I was younger. I mean, I find that hard enough. I think your job is even harder than what a babysitter does. Another question I had was going back to back in time. So you got your role as a clown now, maybe 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, that wasn't a job. And I would ask to you, back in the day, would have you been a jester? What do you think your calling would have been?
It would have been jester sort of thing, yeah.
But I always found that more degrading than what a clown is? Like, do you know what I mean? Because a jester, I feel like he was always like one move away from getting killed by the king.
Yeah,
because if you didn't make them laugh,
maybe,
right?
yeah. If you didn't make them laugh, you're dead, mate.
You're dead. That seems like a really.
But as a clown, as a children's entertainer, I've never really had any issues of not doing the job properly.
Right.
I think there was only once I did a kids' party as Smillie Steve, and I was doing pass a parcel.
Yeah.
And she had 2 pass a parcels. This woman, she said, "We'll do one, then we'll do another one." I said, "Yeah, fine," because it stops me entertaining. I just have to press that button on the laptop, and I always turn away. So I think this kid won. And then we put the next one in, right, blah, blah, wrap off, don't forget a sweet, drop her off, get a sweet. And then obviously I keep watching to see that everybody gets a sweet and one child doesn't get 3 sweets. But then when it comes to the final wrap, because they always say, the green wrapper's the last one. So when I see the green wrapper, I'll turn away, I'll press a button. And this kid won both prizes. And this woman rang up and complained that I allowed that child. Yeah. So
there is a lot of that nowadays with parents now wanting this kind of fair thing. Is there a lot more like expectation now with parents? Because I think a parent now is so more mindful of stuff. You know, there's a classic thing, kids are more mollycoddled. I mean, we live in a much safer world now.
It depends, because, I mean, if it's, you see, I enjoy entertaining going into a really rough area of town.
Yeah.
I won't name it, Marple. And but going into a rough area of town, the kids there are cheeky.
Yeah.
They're more
Got a bit of wit
than the posh kids.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
But I will enjoy it. I will enjoy it so much more than the posh kids.
Well, there's more like ridicule in families, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's more like, I came up in a family where, I mean, my sister, so I've 2 brothers, 1 sister. The sister gets away with saying the most outrageous thing because she's the only sister. She can be so brutal to us at times.
But that's not fair, is it? Because if there's 3 in your family.
Yeah, 4 siblings.
4 siblings.
Including me.
So you've got how many?
I've got 2 brothers, 1 sister.
Yeah, but your sister's got 3 brothers.
Yeah.
And that's not fair.
It's not fair, man. But she gets away with it. She gets away with it. She's got a nephew now, and she thinks she's immortal. But yeah, did you grow up in a kind of environment like that, or was it very, you know, was it hostile?
1 of 7 children.
1 of 7. Damn, that must be crazy.
Yeah, there's only 3 of us left.
Damn, wow. And how was that? Were you youngest, oldest?
I was 3rd youngest.
Okay.
And I'm now the eldest. So
wow. I mean, that is amazing that you're saying you were shy before and then you came out of that. So would have any of your like siblings or parents like known you would do this now then? No.
No, not at all. I mean, my sisters and brothers were as an entertainer, they thought it was because they all worked. They all had jobs. I didn't have a job.
Yeah,
I worked as an entertainer. You know, and I remember doing Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh yeah,
in Oldham at the Grange Theatre, and I was one of the leads, Mushnick, and my brother came to see me with his girlfriend, and in the bar afterwards, he turned on to me and said, "You can't sing, brother." That was hilarious. Yeah. Absolutely hilarious. I'm not a good singer. I'm not a good dancer, but I can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like your brothers and sisters are always there to push you down when they're honest. Yeah, they're good. And you know when you get a compliment from them, oh, that's good.
But the thing is, behind my back, they're proud of me.
Yeah.
They're proud. My brother's on Coronation Street.
Yeah, behind your back, but they won't say it to you.
My mum, she passed away in 1999. I started doing Coronation Street in 2012. And if she'd have known I did Coronation, she'd have been so proud of me.
Yeah, how do you want to talk a bit about that? How your time on Coronation Street was? You said you'd been on there 3. How many?
3. Smillie the Clown's been on 3 times.
Smillie has been on. Yeah,
I did Simon Barlow's birthday party, 10th party in the bistro. I did Get Your Own back on Neil, Lloyd's girlfriend's ex-husband.
Okay, what's the most recent one?
But the most recent on Corrie was about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, just before COVID, when I was, they were having a Greatest Showman theme, circus theme,
Okay.
in the speed dial, and they wanted entertainers in the background. So I was Smillie the Clown juggling,
Lovely.
you know, in the background, yeah.
Oh,
But
that's
everybody was
amazing.
dressed up as like circus themes, yeah.
I mean, is there anything you want to kind of promote? I know you've got your Smillie Productions. I know
Smillie Promotions.
Smillie Promotions. If
Thank
you'd
you,
like
very
to plug.
glad. Yeah, Smillie, www.smillipromotions.com, and it's SMILIE for Smiley. It's not EY.
Not either.
And my phone number is 999, but only use it in an emergency. No, it's 07956 652 335.
Feel like you're doing one of those charity numbers. Donate.
Yeah,
That whenever I hear
yeah.
that, I always think it's like Red Nose Day or something. Whenever I hear
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
doing that, no, that is amazing. I mean, we've got clips now we put up on social media, so we do them on YouTube, TikTok, things like that. They always help get viewers over to the
I've
channel.
actually just talked about clips. There's a guy messaged me on Facebook about 5 years ago from Belgium,
Okay.
and he said to me, I've seen your picture online. It's on one of those website things that you can allow anybody to use. And he says, I would like to use your face, your picture in my game.
Oh,
Like a Game Boy,
Oh, wow.
a circus theme, where there was trapeze artists, and you had to catch them.
cool.
And and he says, when somebody died or failed, then you'd pop up with your eyes flashing, going, ho, 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 ho. And I said to him, please don't use that.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to be seen as.
He said, well, I did ask you, and I don't really need to ask you about it. I said, well, I respect that. I said, but my job is very, very serious. And I don't want you to frighten people with my image.
Yeah.
So I'm allowing you to use it as long as it's not ho, ho, ho,
Right.
frightening.
Yeah.
And he did. And he
Nice.
did. And he sent me a picture
Yeah.
of it. And in the credits of the game, Steve Smillie Norman.
That's so cool. Do you know
So,
what
yeah.
type of? Do you know the name of the game or? No. Okay. But that's really cool. that
Yeah.
You're not even. You're doing podcasts now. You know not just in person, but this modern
But
era.
yeah, because of this website, people, I put pictures up, and it meant that I had to say tick yes, people could use my picture. And I've had friends go, "Is this you, Steve, on this website in America?" And I go, "Yeah, that's me."
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. No, I think thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come along, dress up, Steve. I mean, or Smiley. I'd definitely recommend book your parties.
Yeah.
Book your parties.
As me, Smillie the Clown, or as Smillie Steve, I'm just as funny either way.
Yeah, it's been very funny. Thank you for
Ask
coming
my
down,
mum.
man. Ladies and gentlemen, we are available on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all those things. I'll leave links to Smiley's social media and all his websites down below. So go check him out. And thank you so much for coming on today.
My absolute pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, see you next week. Bye.
Bye.